Dan Hunt, and this is Up Close and Personal. We are live at the Aria Hotel, Casino, Spa, and Resort in Las Vegas, Nevada at World CryptoCon. And I'm here with Mindy Ngo, the Lending Coin, and you are one of the co-founders of the Lending Coin.
Yes.
Okay, so Mindy, before we get in, we're going to talk all about the Lending Coin. We're going to talk all about it. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about you. So you were born in Vietnam.
Yes.
And you came to the U.S. at a very, very young age. Do you remember being in Vietnam at all?
Most of the memories were amazing because I grew up, my aunt raised me because my family had to move from Vietnam as refugees on boat to here. And so I was too tiny for them to take with them. And so what happened was I was raised over there, but we were impoverished. That's why when there are things that really touch my heart is serving the underserved. So back then, actually, I still remember vividly that I would walk home from school a mile or two, and it's just unbelievable to think about it now that when there's a monsoon, fecal matter would be around me. And at that time, I'm thinking...
Floating down the street.
Just floating down the street, and I was thinking, oh, well, this is fine. I'm so used to it. What do I know? I was 6.
Right.
And then all of a sudden there was a big giant, I don't know what it is still today, that just swam past me, and I was so scared I just waddled my way home through the just basically waist deep. I was so tiny, I'm still tiny. But I had to waddle my way home just through all that.
You moved when you were about 6.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the stress and anguish of moving from Vietnam to Northern California, leaving your aunt, and then the excitement of being with your parents?
Actually, they left me when I was really young, so I didn't
You didn't even really know your parents?
I didn't know who they were, and I just saw pictures of them every year that they would send or call to make sure I'm okay. However, I didn't know who they were. So coming over here, I still remember, I had this little note card with me that I was taught to hand over to the flight attendant, so that way, because I didn't speak English.
You didn't speak any English
Nope,
at the time?
not one bit. So that way, they can walk me to the next gate, that where I was supposed to be.
Exactly.
So from Vietnam, I was holding this card, so that way they.
So you actually flew as a 6-year-old. You flew by yourself.
I did.
No brothers, no sisters,
No,
just you.
Just me.
Wow, how courageous to move like that. Now, you moved in and settled into Northern California, Silicon Valley,
Mm-hmm.
and how was it there growing up as a young lady? Were you when you went to school, were you the outsider, or did you kind of get into school right away?
I was always a studier, so super nerdy. I didn't fit in right away because I'm more of an introvert, and I was so focused on what I wanted to do, and so I just studied. But however, I still noticed the discrepancy in what was happening. For example, I love Santa Clara, and that was my undergraduate, but I still saw the discrepancy that as me, I came in under a Gates Millennial Scholarship. Everything was paid for, but all the students, they were affluent. So I understand what it felt like to work myself up to the position I am today, where I'm still very motivated and empowered to make that difference, to provide that mentorship for those women who just want to make that it's also the law of attraction that you were saying about. It's what do we do now that we understand the secret?
Exactly. What do you do next?
Yes.
And what do you do next? And that's one of our sponsors back here, the Law of Attraction course. It actually talks about what to do next. That's what it's all about, is teaching people how to better themselves.
Exactly. I love that.
So let's talk a little bit about, when you were in high school, you're an overachiever, you push things, and you actually went to your teachers and said, we need this club. Tell me about that. How did that come about that you started, what was
National Honor Society?
National Honor Society. They didn't have it at your high school.
No.
So you actually went to your teachers, filled out the paperwork, did everything that you need to do to get the National Honor Society in.
Yeah, I knew that the school, it was predominantly minority, and they didn't have the structure set up. For me, I said, okay, these students, they're motivated to get to the Ivy League schools or top schools across the nation, but they didn't have the resources to put that on their resume to say, I was this, and this, and I did volunteer and all the other stuff. No, that wasn't readily available. So for me, I thought, okay, well, we're missing definitely National Honor Society. There's a couple other organizations too that are available out there to provide the resources. Let's get that going. What's stopping us from creating or taking that resources to the school to make that available for those students? And I did the same thing at Santa Clara, where Econ Club, that was not happening for a long time. And I said, well, the students want to be able to connect with one another and be able to share what they learned and what it is that, what the next steps to graduation.
I want you to think back to high school.
Okay.
I want you to think back to your senior year of high school. What did you want to be when you grow up?
I wanted to be an anesthesiologist.
An anesthesiologist?
Yes.
Okay, so that's kind of out there in left field. You wanted to put people to sleep. So where did that come from? Where do you think that came from? Where did you come up with, I want to be an anesthesiologist as a 17, 18-year-old?
Well, it was either that or a neurosurgeon. So that part of my undergraduate, I went to UCLA under neuroscience. I was so focused on that. I wanted that so badly. And at that time, I figured, okay, what is it that people need? And I've seen geniuses with brain cancer that we need more of those people. Let's save them.
Let's save them. Okay. Well, somehow or other, you migrated from science and medicine to cryptocurrency and blockchain.
Yes.
Okay, and you're a co-founder of the Lending Coin. Let's talk about that transition.
I figured that pre-med was not the right path for me.
Okay.
Deep down, I said as much as I wanted it, it wasn't the right path. And then so I transferred out to Santa Clara University to finish my undergraduate in econ.
Okay.
And then afterwards, that's where I got my graduate degree in statistics. And when transitioning from statistics to blockchain technology, it was an easy no-brainer for me because blockchain technology is amazing in its encryption and its technology in the most efficient way as far as transactions and whatnot. I just fell in love with it.
I love the way you say, I fell in love with the technology. It's just really just great to have somebody that's so passionate about this technology.
Yes.
So the Lending Coin, let's talk about what it is. What does it do?
So the Lending Coin is a private lender that specializes in commercial real estate and economically inclusive housing. So what that means is that for those veterans, for example, that are coming back and they need housing, they need that extra help, that while the salary is right here, the living index is way up here. That's
right.
How can those people that have served us, or the students that newly graduated, how can they reach to that level where they can buy those housing? It's not affordable. And so there's a huge need for that kind of funding, and for us to step in and say, hey, we are the solution to changing what's going on. We are the solution to be able to serve the underserved.
Now, Mindy, it's not just the Lending Coin that you're giving back with. You have an organization. Now, first of all, before we get to this organization, you moved from Southern California to Idaho. Mm-hmm. How did that happen?
I visited Idaho and I completely fell in love with it. I did. The secret's out.
The secret's out. You fell in. Is there a man in there, or?
My family moved there.
Your whole family moved there, so you just fell in love with it?
And then we slowly migrated over. So it was just one family member, and then another family member over, and another family. We just get drawn to Idaho, and we just stayed.
And you just stayed, and you love it. So now you're in Idaho, and you're part of a group that is empowering women. Let's talk about this group. What is that?
So one of the organizations that I really appreciate that came about is Women Ignite. So with that group, they have this conference every year. They bring hundreds of women together, including men, that want to understand what is it that women can do. How can we get them empowered? How do we get to the next level of where there's a problem of, let's say, discrepancy in obtaining capital for their business, or just simply having the right mentorship and sponsorship for their organization. How do we change that? And how do we continue to help each other? And I love that kind of community. I love just being able to, for example, Salt Lake has that, and I appreciate just being there. And there's communities after another that say, I know you need help here, let me provide that solution, or you need help here, let me provide that solution for you. And that's what I'm driven by. And with the law of attraction, that just aggregated all my beliefs together.
That is just incredible. To hear the passion behind what you're doing and why you're doing it, and you don't get paid from that group. You actually just do that because you want to help others do that.
Yes. Absolutely.
Well, you know, I know you've talked with my wife and the law of attraction. I'd love to have you a part of our law of attraction course. Your story is so inspirational to not just women out there, but everyone out there. So we truly appreciate you being on Up Close and Personal today here at this incredible event. Isn't this?
It's beautiful. There's so many incredible people here, and just like the law of attraction, you attract other people who are like-minded to your vision and your passion, and I just keep meeting more and more of those people that said, hey, let me help you with that, instead of being takers.
And you know, Mindy, I'm also doing something here that I'm just being a little sneaky about it, because I have a millennial here. Now, millennials only normally watch a YouTube channel for 40 seconds, but we're coming up on 12 minutes, so you gotta get all your friends to watch the whole thing, okay?
Absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely.
Well, we're live at the Aria Hotel, Casino, Resort and Spa in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada at CryptoCon. This is Mindy Ngo. Thank you so much for being a guest today.
Much.
I'm Dan Hunt saying, have a great rest of today and an even better day tomorrow.